This has been my main hustle since day one. It's my bread and butter and I know exactly what to do. If you're someone that wants to get into video editing and you want to make a mark, then please watch till the end of the video. By the way guys, memberships have just opened on the Ty White channel. Don't get me wrong, you are not obliged to pay for no memberships whatsoever. However, I'm putting this feature on the channel just for the people that love the channel and want to support it. You can get exclusive perks on there, like long form videos that are only shown to members, shorts content that is only shown to members, and things that I follow back. I'm not a celebrity, but I just had to put something on there. Make sure to enjoy the video. This includes your PC, the software, how to market yourself, how to get clients, how to price things, and along the way I'll be showing you all the mistakes that I made so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. So if you have the basics down, like your specs and your editing software, then I want you to skip to this part of the video. However, if you don't, then I want you to watch. So before you even begin searching for an editing software to get, you need to make sure that you have the right PC that can actually manage to run an editing software. You see, you can't just get any laptop and open up a video editing software. Most softwares are extremely demanding, and if you don't have a good PC, then it's not going to be able to run properly. So what I would personally recommend so you can do any type of editing style is an RTX series graphics card. You can also use the Radeon like 570 series. They're sort of basically the same as a GeForce. And you have to have a really good CPU. This is very essential when it comes to video editing, as if you don't have a good CPU, then in general your PC is not going to run that fast. So you can go for something like an Intel i7 or Ryzen, which I personally use, and it's a lot better for video editing. I have a Ryzen 5 5600X. Obviously better specs will be much better, but it's alright, it will do. And as far as RAM goes, I would also recommend use minimum 16 gigs of RAM if you're not using After Effects. So that's just Premiere Pro, Vegas, DaVinci Resolve. However, if you want to get into extremely high-end editing, then you have to have minimum 32 gigs of RAM. However, you don't have to have Windows PCs. You can also use Macs as well. Now, it's very hard to sort of edit with a Mac in my opinion, because you can't really customize the specs the way you can on a gaming PC. However, you still have to make sure, even if you're going to be using Mac, that you gotta have a really high-end system. You can't just be going for the lowest Mac and thinking you're right to instantly start going onto After Effects and things. You gotta make sure that you're choosing out your system specs specifically for video editing. But now that we have computer specs out the way, let's start talking about video editing softwares. The one that I personally started on was Sony Vegas, and to be honest, nowadays it's not really good for the type of editing where you can make loads of money on. So what I would personally recommend is learning Premiere Pro. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a lot harder to learn than Sony Vegas in my opinion, but once you get the hang of it, it is pretty simple. The way that you can learn is literally just watch YouTube videos. A lot of people will encourage you to buy a video editing course just to learn the basics. Well, you can just use YouTube to find out how to operate the software and learn the basic skills. And After Effects is something that you would also want to learn if you want to get into high-end video editing. This is for things like motion graphics. So the edits that you see on the screen right now are motion graphics. This is a lot harder, and trust me, this will take years and years to learn properly. However, this will certainly elevate your editing career as a whole. Now, a lot of people will talk about DaVinci Resolve and how good it is, but to be honest, it's really just good for color grading. It has real in-depth color grading systems compared to things like Premiere Pro, Sony Vegas, and other things like Final Cut Pro X. Which, speaking of Final Cut Pro, if you are a Mac user, this is something that you can also use, but as I said, I would just learn Premiere Pro. It's completely up to you and how you find the UI. Now, please keep this in mind. This is no get-rich-quick scheme. Video editing is one of the hardest skills to learn, but once you fully master video editing, you can make a ton of money from it. There's one thing that I really want to make clear here. People don't make the insane edits by using standard plugins. People make these type of edits with paid plugins and custom ones that people have developed. So if you want to go to this level, you need to make sure that you're stocked up. But you're in luck, because I'm going to tell you a few ones to get. The most common ones are Red Giant and Sapphire. if you've not heard of these, then basically Sapphire is made by a company called Boris. They also have other editing plugins apart from Sapphire, like Mocha and Quantum. Sapphire is commonly known for its shake, which is extremely good for pop-ins and different things like that. It's also very commonly used for transitions and its video effects. That goes for the same as Red Giant Universe. It has basic swish pan transitions, glitch transitions, all of that stuff and video effects. Nothing too interesting, but it's what you would want as a basic video editor. However, if you're looking for more pricey plugins but for the better edits, then you should be looking at things like Motion Bro and Brian Delamata plugins. Motion Bro is essentially 30 different packs that you can install to After Effects and has all of your needs in one. There's motion graphics, there's call out signs, there's lower thirds, there's social media icons, basically everything that you would need as a social media editor. And Brian Delamata also runs on After Effects, and he has a very popular plugin called Shake Source. Commonly, these are used for things like music videos, and they're not really used so much on basic content, but you can intertwine them slightly if you know how to edit properly. And this is something that I won't be discussing on this video, but if you want to learn more, then as I say, just watch YouTube. So if you skip to this point in the video, right now we're going to be talking about the marketing side as a video editor. Some people might think, what do you mean by marketing yourself as a video editor? Well, of course, you need to get clients somehow, and you're not going to get clients by posting your edits on Twitter all the time or anything like that. You need to directly market yourself and put yourself in a position where people are looking for video editors. Now, with video editors on Twitter, I very commonly see people posting preset files and different transition packs for other video editors. However, clients are not going to be coming for you if you're posting stuff about other video editors. You need to be making stuff that directly tailors your editing to the clients. Now, there are 3 different ways that you can do this. Number 1, as I said, Twitter, but you have to do this in a very specific way, which I'll get into. Number 2 is YT jobs, which I'll also touch upon. And number 3 is doing work for completely free. So first, let's get into talking about how you market yourself on Twitter. As I said, you don't want to be posting stuff for other video editors, but you do want other video editors to see your work, and there's a good reason for this. If you kind of connect with other video editors, if they get a client sent their way and they can't take the client as they're probably busy, then they can always refer you as a good video editor to the client. And on top of this, it's very good to have a large following on Twitter as possible, because clients will see your page. And let's be honest, if you're somebody that wants a video editor, you're not going to be going to someone with 0 followers. It's just better for the look. That's why it's very good to be known on Twitter. So what you can do is follow other video editors, get yourself known in the video editing space as much as possible. Constantly interact with them by liking their tweets, sending them DMs saying that you like their stuff, and naturally, if they're good people, they'll follow you back as well. And the main thing with Twitter is you need to be posting your show reels. So don't be dropping them video editor packs, drop edits and show what you can do. If you don't have any work to show off, then what I would recommend do is take things like music videos or other people's editing, or try get some raw footage of someone and just edit it like that, and then post your work. You can show before and afters, show what you've done to the video. Now let's get into talking about YT jobs. This essentially does 80% of the work for you, so it's a big step up from using Twitter. Some of the biggest YouTubers on the platform are constantly scanning this site to find new video editors all the time. There's even people like Laserbeam. I mean, one time I had a trial for him. I didn't get it, but it is what it is. But that just shows you how many people are actually on this site. If you're a multi-skilled guy and you don't just do video editing, they also have a graphics design section, a script writing section, a channel manager section on top of video editing. Step 1 is setting up your own profile. So the first thing you want to do is put your name in and put your profile picture in. I would recommend be as real as possible. So don't use an internet name, put your actual name and use an actual picture of your face. And then you're gonna need to link the videos that you've previously edited. If you don't have any work to post, then I would personally recommend going for the Twitter option first. Once you've actually edited a few videos, make sure to definitely come back to YT jobs and post the work that you've done. This site is really good because you can quick apply for jobs in no word of a lie, 2 clicks. But let's just say that you're still struggling to find clients. So what do? The best thing that you can do here is edit things for free. Nobody really wants to waste their time and edit things that they're not getting paid for. However, I can tell you for a fact, a lot of video editors have done this at some point, including me and including my friend, which runs the channel as well. We used to do so much free video editing that we wasn't even getting paid for a couple months. But you have to go through this process in order to earn the thousands and thousands. So essentially, you're going to your client and offering them something that they can't refuse. All you really have to say in this situation is, look, if you don't like the video, you don't have to post it. However, if you like the video, then post it and we can talk about different pricings. In this situation, it's the most easiest way to get a client because nobody loses except you a little bit, but everyone can win out this situation too. You can get paid, they can get a good video. However, let's sidestep away from this topic and let's talk about identifying new editing trends. So if you're a consumer of YouTube, then you will notice that there's a lot of different content, and for content there's a lot of different editing styles. So let's look at the Sidemen, for example. The Sidemen have an editing style where it's quite professional, but at the same time is very motion graphic based. Whereas somebody like Logan Paul doesn't really have editing, and his edits are basically just hard cuts. But whereas my content is a finance channel, and you can see the editing style is very motion graphics based and it is very professional. And every year you will tend to see editing styles keep changing, and there's always some new stuff that comes out. So you got to make sure to keep up with the trends in the scene. You can't just keep going back to what you know. Sometimes you have to adapt and learn in life, and that's just life in general. Now, of course, as a video editor, you would want to make as much money as possible. But one thing I would recommend, which I know personally a lot of video editors have gone through, is they've took off a bit more than what they can chew. And what I mean by this is, if you put it in your head that you want to make 10 grand a month from video editing, then you got to get 10 clients and work for them each week. But trust me, that is the worst thing that you can do. What I would recommend is, be in a comfortable position where you can manage everything. So that works for life-wise, your work life, and your free time as well. It's so much better to have a couple good high retainer clients than 10 mid-bad clients. But to get in this position, we need to talk about the language that you use when you come to making deals with clients. You see, a lot of people tend to start talking extremely professional when they're trying to get a deal with a client. However, that is the worst thing that you could possibly do. I've also seen people that essentially just talk bad on their videos. I've had people even message me on Instagram saying, hey man, there's the problem with this on your video, the editing is not good, the thumbnail, the title, and I just hit them back with, I've done 500,000 views this month. So how is it bad? It's obviously working. Whereas if somebody came to me in my DMs and they come across quite cool and they just said like, yeah man, if you ever need anything, I can do this for you, I can do this for free, then I'll be like, you know what? Sure man, I'll give you a chance. And on top of this, it is extremely important to explain your reasoning for the price that you give. It could even be $200 on a $1,000 video. They might say, why do you charge so cheap? You could say things like, to be honest man, I just want to work with you, you seem like a cool and relaxed dude. You can basically come up with anything. Or you could say, I charge $1,000 and here's why. It could be, I spend this amount of time doing motion graphics, I do it all myself, I use Blender. If you break it down to them exactly what you do and why you're worth their money, then you'll probably most likely get the work. And finally, going to the point that I made of not biting off more than you can chew, is avoiding burnouts at all means. Every video editor has come across a burnout stage where they physically feel ill when they open an editing software. Everyone's been there, but there's ways that you can prevent this. When I was video editing, I was barely taking a break. I didn't even leave my house for like 6 months straight. The only time I left my house was to go to the shop or go to the gym. I had no social life, I didn't care, I was locked away working 24/7. And eventually, that will hit you super hard to the point where you just even drag a video on the screen, you start feeling ill, you start just feeling mad. The way to avoid this is have a good work-life balance. Make sure to have your social time, make sure to go out with your friends, relax a bit, don't just work all the time. I know if you're a workaholic and you enjoy working, you need to make sure that you purposely put some space on that. If you guys have enjoyed this video and you believe that you've even got the little bit of value that you think that you need, then please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I'm Ty White, and thanks for watching.